Well, hello there. I hope everybody's having a good day. And if this is the next day for you, I'm hoping that the day will go fine for you. Anyway, I like to relate an experience that happened a few years ago. It was on a fishing trip and nothing went right. Everything messed up all through the whole trip. It's one of those things where you should have just stayed home and not bothered. I'm not gonna use the person's name because I like to leave his name out. Probably a little embarrassing. I wouldn't doubt it. But anyway, we got up in the morning to go on a fishing trip. We left. On the way, the guy that was with me tried to make his directional lights go. This is problem number one that he had. And they didn't blink at all whatsoever. The only way he could make them work is by clicking it on and off by hand. Not a great way to start a trip. Well, that was just a minor problem. That's all we were going to deal with, and fine, that's fine. No big deal. We traveled quite a distance, and then eventually we finally got where we were going to go. Well, we finally got to the water to let the boat off the trailer, and as soon as we did, he says, "Okay, hold on to this rope while I back up." And we backed up too far into the water. He did, and it was a little bit too late. Got the boat off the trailer all right, of course, but then we couldn't get the car out of the water. I'm gonna call his name Billy Bob. So if there's any Billy Bobs out there, this isn't you. So Billy Bob got into the water and got all soaking wet, and it wasn't exactly a warm day. He tried to put something under the tires, like some rocks and things, and it was pretty much useless. And he got in the car, and all he did is bury it further into the ground. And by now, the seats in the back were getting wet, and the seats in the front. Tried to get some help, but couldn't find any help. Did find a guy who said, "Well, you can use my cell phone and call a tower, and then we can have a truck come and pull us out." Back in 1999, of course, there wasn't that many cell phones, but we got a hold of him. But the thing is, he said, "Well, I can't afford it." So, but I did go up the hill and found a guy with a farmer with a big tractor, and he got him down there, and he pulled and hooked it to the car, and he pulled us out. And when he did, the car started. There was water running out of the tailpipe, and the back seats were soaked, and the water pouring out of the back seat, and water some pouring out the front. But the car actually went. Well, that part was over with. Now we can go into the boat. That must be the last thing that can happen. Boy. So Billy Bob was wet, so we got into the boat to go fishing. Billy Bob digs out his sunglasses to put on, and there was only one lens. He says, "Well, one lens is better than none." Well, he cast out his line, and he actually did catch a nice little fish, so he had me take his picture, all soaking wet, holding on to his fish. So that made quite a picture. And then after that, he cast his fishing hook out again, and this time he got it caught up into a tree, and he lost a sinker and the whole business up into a tree. So that was the end of that fly and everything that was hooked to that. Next problem, the small motor he had started messing up. It started slowing down on him, so he couldn't use that motor. He had to switch to the bigger motor. We got out quite a ways. Things was looking pretty good and smooth now. But then something else happened. The pump that Billy Bob uses to pump the water out of the boat, it stopped working. So we started getting water inside the boat. We did manage to get the boat to shore without drowning ourselves, and we got the water out of the boat and drained it, hooked it back to the trailer. And I say, "This is a very memorable day." And he says, "That's for sure." So we went home and we had to sit on wet sheets on the seats. We made it home all right. He dropped me off at the house. I had to change my wet clothes, and he had to go home and dry the car out. I bet that car smelled for a while. Billy Bob told me if I did lose the car, it would have probably been my last fishing trip. That's quite an experience. But it's true. It's written right here in my diary. Crazy.